So in this video we're benchmarking a few VR headsets with my current PC build, which is now a 13900K, 4090 and DDR5 memory. Now I've done some comparisons with just the 10900K upgraded to the 3900K, and it really made very little difference, if any at all. So it is all about the graphics card, which is, to be expected. So we're initially just going to run through some numbers on 3D Benchmark and see what improvement we get, and then we'll jump into a couple of sims and see some real world gains and just compare back to back the 4090 to the 3090. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, so we're kicking it off with the 8KX normal FOV with parallel projection on, and you can see with the 3090 we're getting just over 8.5 FPS, and on the 4090 bumping it up to 27.8, so quite a big jump there, a nice percentage increase of 49%, so yeah, nearly 50% there. Obviously it varies a little bit each time you do it, but yeah, a 50% increase. So up to the Pico 3 Neo on virtual desktop here, and on the 3090 we're getting 40 FPS, and jumping up on the 4090 to 68 basically. Now a nice increase, a pretty sizable jump there. Yeah, so an increase of 70%, so pretty decent indeed. Moving on now to the Pico 4, again on virtual desktop, and on the 3090 we're getting just over 32. Unfortunately on the 3 and the 4 I'm not using USB or display port cable, because for some reason it doesn't want to work anymore on mine, don't know why. So a big jump there from 32 to 50 on the 4090, an increase of around 57%, so again nothing to sniff at. Next up on the Quest 2 virtual desktop, I will show link that does work, it's just the Picos that doesn't seem to work for some reason. So on virtual desktop we're getting a 40 FPS, but check this out, a nice jump up to around 70 FPS on the 4090. So another sizable jump there of about 72%, pretty decent indeed. So we're going to check out the link here. Now this is where things get really interesting, both on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. So starting up at 66, so already higher of course. Then on virtual desktop, but from 66 up to 161. Ridiculous. So what's going on? So basically there's a 144% increase. Now I ran it a couple of times and numbers checked out each time, so unless something weird is going on, if you know better, let me know in the comments. But moving on to the Quest Pro on virtual desktop, and 31.82. Settings are on the highest they'll go on virtual desktop with regard to resolution, both on the Quest 2 and Quest Pro and the Picos. So anyway, jump up to 74. As you can see, a nice boost of 135%, and that's on virtual desktop. Pretty awesome, right? A massive jump. Moving on to Link, and you know what's coming, it's going to be ridiculous. So 58 already, pretty good performance there on the Quest Pro, on virtual on the Link, and then massive jump up to 141. So again a huge jump on Link here, 143% increase. So yeah, across the board we get an average increase of 96%. So fantastic jump, I mean as we expected, but just to put it into a little perspective and what you can expect. Okay, so starting off with the 3090 in Automobilista 2. Everything is basically as high as it will go at 100% super sampling on normal FOV in the 8KX. Now you can see the frame rate is sticking around 30ish, and before anyone bothers to comment that it's a ridiculous frame rate, no, of course I don't play at that. This is for benchmarking purposes. There's no point in hitting the refresh rate of 75, because if you get a better FPS it's not going to show, that'll hit the ceiling So you've got to stress it. So I'm running it at night because in AMS2 headlights really do have a massive performance hit. Not using rain, because rain in AMS2 is horrible, carried over from Project Cars 2. It clips through the cockpit in VR, and hopefully one day they'll sort it out, but they don't respond to comments questioning it in the forums, etc. But anyway, so we're sticking around the 30ish FPS in the 3090. Obviously it looks amazing, but yeah, you wouldn't play it like this, obviously. But okay, so 30 to beat. Let's see what sort of improvement we can get now. Jumping over, same conditions, full graphic settings in the 4090. And straight away, a 10 plus FPS increase, so over 30% increase easily. And it does in fact get up to around 50 or so over the course of a lap. So a massive increase, to be honest, from 30 up to 50. I don't use any motion projection, and motion smoothing, etc., but you'd easily hit the half the refresh rate here if that was something you like to use. But yeah, so everything is high as it will go, 100% super sampling, and we're sticking around the mid 40s. Well, low 40s, but sometimes up to around 50. And here's the thing, in AMS2, it's the lighting that has the biggest impact. We're going to jump into a moment with the same settings, but in daytime, and the improvement is extreme. And most racing I like to do is during the day in nice weather. I mean, that's what you'd like if you did a track day, right? But yeah, so already you can see a nice improvement there, around 15 to 20 FPS while being pushed this hard. But okay, let's jump to day and see how it goes.
Okay, as soon as you haven't got to contend with car headlights, the performance is another level. So I have got every graphical setting as high as it will go, except MSAA, that's on medium. I mean, I probably could put that up to high, and it wouldn't matter, but anyway, that's on medium. Everything else, as high as it will go, and I'm on 100% Steam Super Sampling in the 8KX at normal FOV. Could use large, but I don't really bother with large, because at the very edge there, it gets a little distorted. I don't see the benefit really of large, so I always stick to normal. I'm not using any upscaling, no VR performance kit. So, with everything as high as it will go, 100%, and with OBS running, I've got a 20 car grid, I put myself in the middle, and we're just constantly on the refresh rate of 75, which I'm happy with. I don't try messing around and going higher on the 8KX. This is amazing. Obviously the most immersive it's ever been, and of course the ridiculous prices of a 4090 it should be. But this is next level VR, and I wish I had a Varo Aero now to try on the 4090. That must be something else. But yeah, even this. I mean, the 8KX is an awesome headset. Even more excited now for the 12K. So come on, Pimax. I hope that's everything it's cracked up to be. This is amazing, absolutely amazing. Look at that, the stats. It's only on 83% of the GPU here. I mean, you could super sample it. So it's just a case of considering what time and what conditions you're going to be racing in. Because, of course, as soon as the night draws in and the headlights come on, performance tanks. It's to be expected, probably even worse in the rain. But most racing is done during the day in good weather. So I'll keep it like this. You may want to tailor it to any event you've got lined up, but wow, it's a shame we don't get any DLSS in AMS2, and then I would have thought night time wouldn't be an issue.
Okay, so 3090 again now in ACC, which is notoriously bad in VR. Now we've got everything basically full at 100% super sampling, and it's running 30 FPS. Now we've got DLSS on quality, which helps obviously, and actual pixel density, VR pixel density is up 120 in game. Just to push it, make sure we get nowhere near the refresh rate with either card. As I said before, it's no point hitting that ceiling, you won't see the gains represented in the FPS value. So again, not something you'd really want to be playing at, but it actually does look awesome, apart from some of the graphical quirks of the game, which I'm sure anyone who plays it is familiar with. But it is really, for the most part, a good looking game. Yeah, now that the cars are spread out a little bit, we're hovering around the high 30s. The high 30 FPS. Of course, remember that it's always choppier on the screen in the video than it is in the headset. It's always better in the headset. But yeah, so around 40, just under 40. Let's jump onto the 4090 now. Right away, we're up to around 60. Which is actually pretty decent. DLSS does help a vast amount in this game. It's also quite detrimental. But anything less than quality is not particularly pleasant. But it certainly helped a vast amount. So once we spread out a little bit, we're jumping up to the high 60s, which is a massive jump, to be honest. What are we, high 30s up to high 60s, so getting on 100% or so increase. Pretty decent. See, GPU frame time has dropped dramatically. We're using just about all of the GPU there. 97%. Keeping pretty cool though. Yeah, so a massive jump with the 4090 to be expected, but as I say, that's with 120% pixel density, which you don't need. It looks great in 100, but this is to really push it. So let's try it now, with the sort of settings I would be happy to play with. Something that I'd be happy with how it looks and how it runs.
Okay, so basically I've got everything pretty much as high as it will go. DLSS on quality, same as I had it before, but I had pixel density up to 120 just to push it, and you know, for a benchmark, to check we didn't hit the 75 because it won't go above that. But now I've just dropped that to 100. That's all I've done. The only change, everything else is pretty darn high. We're running at 75. I've got effects at mid. With the AKX, I don't know about other headsets, I don't recommend going above medium for effects. The reason is, anything above medium, you get a lot of mismatched textures or shadows or reflections on some surfaces. So they're different in each eye and it looks weird. Now, you still get some on medium and below, but you can't get rid of those ones. Even on the lowest, they don't hang around. But certainly, there's a big difference between medium and high. So yeah, anyway. This is now a game I might play. I've never really bothered. It's performed so badly. This is beautiful. It's a good looking game now. 100% normal field of view. Yeah, and running like a dream. So that's it. We've reached the peak where we can pretty much run these sims at their full potential, just about. And all it took was a leading £2,000 graphics. It is ridiculous. It's exceeded expectations here. Now, of course, this is ideal conditions, daytime, dry. You know, I'm sure if you have to worry about car headlights in the rain, like AMS2, obviously, it's going to tank a bit, but that's always the way. Okay, I was wrong. Unlike AMS2, somehow night racing doesn't have as much an impact. In the rain here at night, and I'm pretty much just sticking to the refresh rate. The rain does look a little weird on the windscreen. I wonder if this is due to DLSS. Nothing will compete with the rain effects in Assetto Corsa now. But yeah, I just thought I'd try it out quickly, and there you go. Pretty much full graphics at night in the rain, and FPS isn't anything to worry about. Yeah, a little tiny dip here and there, but absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Let's just see if, just curiosity's sake, DLSS disabled. Yeah, the rain is a lot better now. It's not like black dots on the screen. So there's your downside. DLSS, as awesome as it is, still not the best rain effects in the world, but certainly a lot better. But hey, it probably wouldn't take too much to get a good frame rate without DLSS. There's certainly some playing around to be done, but yeah, this is actually a game I might start getting into a little bit.
Okay, last up for today is Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now first off, in the 3090 we've got everything basically as high as it will go. We do have DLSS on in quality, and we're getting around 30, sitting happily at 30. Of course we're flying over New York here, pretty much the standard for stress testing in MSFS. Clear day, not bothered with clouds, no traffic around us, but using one of the replay apps to make sure that the flights are basically identical. And yeah, just sticking, well, rock solid really, around 30. It's not bad actually, considering, you know, it's almost worst case scenario with regard to scenery, not including weather. But yeah, not too bad, 30. Let's now jump to the 4090 and see that we get a nice big jump to around 50. And it fluctuates a little more. Last time it's pretty much solid 30. This does fluctuate somewhat, but it seems to be quite happy getting up to around 50. Although we're hovering around 40 here, but still, anyway, that's a big jump. Even 30 to 40 is a 33 sort of % increase or so. But yeah, we're getting up mid 40s, close to the 50 there. So certainly quite a big jump in performance, but as you can see it's still limited by a main thread. This is with a 3900K, slightly overclocked just with the BIOS AI overclocking. Haven't messed with anything myself, but yeah, none too shabby an increase. Certainly actually smooth in the headset. Now of course on screen it doesn't look that way, but absolutely smooth in the headset. You know, the best by far MSFS has ever been, and playing anywhere else really, any other scenery, you can certainly expect to get a very nice frame rate indeed. Pretty darn awesome. Okay, so with those few sims, a pretty awesome improvement across the board, which is to be expected, but in some cases better than I'd hoped. So ACC especially is more than playable now. I know for a lot of people it was before, but now it's playable with fantastic graphics in a wide field of view. So that's something I'll jump into a bit more, certainly than I ever used to. But yeah, certainly a lot more games to try out and see what improvements we can get, and hopefully more games at DLSS 3, because some of the games I've tried that on, it's pretty awesome to be honest. So we need that in VR. Hopefully more and more. But yeah, anything else you want to see, anything you want tested, benchmarked, etc., just drop me in the comments. I'll always try and respond or answer to any questions, but otherwise that'll do it for now, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.